Vets and vet nurses often do a lot of things in their own time away from work that we rarely hear about. One of them, emergency and critical care nurse Michelle Sorrenson, is always keen to grab every opportunity to educate kids about pets.
Tell us, how did you come to be at a daycare centre talking about the amazing stuff that vets and vet nurses do, especially in emergency care?
Well, one of the educators approached me actually and mentioned that she was doing Animal Care Week at her work and is talking to the children about different community services and professionals within the community. And the focus of the week was vets and caring for animals. And she contacted me and asked me if I was interested in going along and talking to some of the children and telling them what we do and maybe taking some dress-ups and giving them the opportunity to experience what it's like to be a vet nurse for a couple of hours.
What were they most interested in?
They were all very excited. It was lots of fun, actually. They were all quite excited to tell me about their own animals at home, and we had some lovely props, so we took lots of pictures along and asked them to identify different animals, and we had some happy cats and some cranky cats, and it was really great to see, actually, that the children were able to identify what a happy cat looks like, and when they saw the grumpy one, straight away they put their hands up and said, "Oh, he's grumpy," and we don't touch. So it was really enlightening to see that at such a young age, children are being made aware and have that awareness about behaviour and how to approach animals as well.
What age are we talking about here?
These were 3 to 4 year olds, so very bright, energetic little people.
And this is the age, unfortunately, where a lot of kids get bitten by dogs and cats and probably rabbits as well and birds. So this is really cool. You're able to go along and give them some handy hints. I can see some of the dress-up things. What else did you get to do with them?
So we kept it quite brief because they, do have quite short attention spans. So we talked a little bit about what animals they had at home. We identified some animals with some pictures and talked about some native animals. They were quite excited to see pictures of more of the natives, I think, because it's not a familiar picture that most of them would see. So we saw, a ringtail possum picture and then a juvenile ringtail, and at first they couldn't quite understand where the connection was. And once we talked about it and explored about it, they became really quite excited. It was very, very interesting to sort of see their reactions with snakes and lizards, and it was lovely to see that, when we talked about snakes, what would they do? And they all said we would walk backwards and go inside a door and tell our mums and dads. So especially with snake season coming up at the moment, especially out in the west, it's definitely great to see that the kids are aware about their natives and their reptiles and what to do in the event of an emergency.
Oh, well, excellent, and especially coming up basically to snake season, which has literally started. That's a good thing to actually get across to them. I can hear some animals in the background there. What have you got?
I do. It might be a bit too noisy. I can try and move into a quieter spot. Yeah, it definitely was. And the kids were all quite excited, and we did a little bit of dress-ups, and we took some bandage material around, and so not only were they wearing... So we did a bit of dress-up, and we put on some shoe covers and some gowns and hair nets, and we had some fun blowing up some gloves into balloons, so they all thought that was quite funny too, and we all high-fived a blown-up balloon, so it was it was a lot of fun, I have to say.
Now, one thing I have noticed with young kids in particular is the questions that they ask. So did you get any, let's say, awkward questions about puppies and kittens and things like that?
Where they come from?
No, I actually have to say this group was a really great bunch, and I think they were all just quite excited to have a visitor in the centre, and lots of noisy questions, but nothing that was too inappropriate, I'd have to say.
Oh, good. That's okay.
So
it made me feel better, absolutely.
So this sounds like it could become a semi-regular thing. We could see your good self chatting to lots of young potential vets and vet nurses.
I think it would be great, and the experience for the children. I know there's lots of programs for high school aged students sort of going into veterinary hospitals and learning about more of the sort of ins and outs and the runnings of the hospital. But for the little ones, how many families have got beautiful family pets at home that they don't quite think about what happens when they get sick and who looks after them. So for them to be able to see somebody come in and say, I look after your animals when they get sick, that was really cool because they were really excited about that, and they all wanted to tell me what their animals ate. And some of them were very clever, I have to say, and they drew some connections with the Easter Bunny and the reindeer eating the same things that rabbits and guinea pigs eat too. So They're being educated.
Excellent.
Oh, fantastic. Well, look, thank you for sharing that with us. We really appreciate it. And people will be able to see you and the kids on the ARH Facebook page.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much for your time.